Have you ever noticed when someone's being interviewed or questioned about a personal struggle that they vacillate between speaking in first person and second person? We're going to explore this defense mechanism coming up on Stepping Out of Stuck.
Welcome to the YouTube show, Stepping Out of Stuck. I'm your host, Ted Simmons, the superhero Shyness,
And I'm your host, Bonnie Brindle, the Anxiety Avenger.
and we help you to get unstuck.
So let's get after it. Something we probably need to do, Ted, is define what first and second person means in this context.
Oh, that's a good plan. Yeah.
Okay.
I always thought of first person just being us conversating right now and, you know, me describing myself as me. Um, and then second person, what is that one?
Oh, that's when it's more directed at the audience or a listener. So you just said like in first person when you're talking, you say I, me, my, we,
Mhm,
things that you did or feel or think.
mhm.
And then second person is so using the word you, your and yours. So when when you drive too fast, you might get pulled over by the police. That's second person. Instead of when I drive too fast, I might get pulled over by the police. That's first person.
Okay.
So why when we talk about people being interviewed or questioned on a personal struggle, why would switching from I to you happen? What
I would think when you're describing something, it becomes easier to describe it as as something that happened, right?
yeah. Oh, you mean something that happened to someone else,
Oh, yeah, okay.
right? Okay, okay, so when you're talking about you, your, and yours, and we're talking about to the audience and saying something that happened is more like it happened to you instead of me, eh, that's where the personal struggle piece would come in, right? So okay, okay,
I can
yeah,
see
so
that.
if I'm talking about my anxiety issues that I've dealt with, right? I
Mhm,
could talk about, um, when I was a kid, I was afraid to be in a movie theater, right? I couldn't go to the movies in case I ended up sitting inside of an aisle and, like, have to climb over people, that claustrophobic feeling. And if I was really triggered by that while somebody was asking me about it, I might say, "Well, when you go to a movie theater and you have to sit inside the aisle and you feel uncomfortable and you're claustrophobic."
okay.
Right? It's kinda like
Yeah.
reaching out to, like, connect with that person, like, "You too, right?" Instead of me just being the only person, like, "Oh, I can't go to a movie theater and sit in the middle of the aisle because I am uncomfortable and I'm claustrophobic." That's hard if it's something that's really upsetting.
Mm, yeah. Yeah, I always find myself trying to include others just so that then I don't feel I don't 1, they're not left out, but then I guess also the fact that I'm not to blame as much.
Mm, yeah, and that's kind of a little cover for the fear and the pain, isn't it? "Well, I'm just including others."
Mhm,
We've both done this. But really, it's I don't feel safe when it comes to a personal struggle, right? When it comes to
mhm.
something that's a trigger for us, it's more about us not feeling safe, being the only one potentially having the issue, the feelings, or the behavior that we're talking about. Hmm.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense to me. Yeah.
So I've noticed it in listening to people being interviewed, or when I'm talking to, I remember when, as an educator, talking to some of the teachers who were feeling abused by an administrator that we had.
Mm,
I can pick it up. It's something I notice. It's just one of those details that I notice. And I can pick it up sometimes in a conversation when somebody will start talking in first person about their experience, I mean my,
mhm.
and switch in the middle when it gets hot, like when it gets painful. Can you think of an instance when you've ever done that? That you've noticed it?
Oh, I mean, just writing my book.
Oh,
I was, my editor was going sorts of crazy, and in fact, you'd mentioned it a few different places too. I had gone
that's
through,
right.
and I was describing myself from a exterior view, right? It was something that happened not to me, but to somebody, right? And it was, yeah.
I forgot about that, Ted. When I read your initial manuscript, I do remember talking to you about it when you were telling your personal story, that stuff that
Mhm.
we our personal stories is how we connect with people, right?
Right,
Because
right.
we all have such similar experiences and we all think we're alone with them most of the time. But I
Mhm,
remember that looking at your manuscript and being like, "Oh yeah, you're talking about you and this happened to you're talking about yourself and you're using I, me, and my, and then oh, right there, you started saying you, your, and yours. So that was
mhm.
difficult to write about. That was difficult to put out there.
Oh, yeah.
Forgot all about that. Yeah. So we do it in writing too, as well as in our speech.
Yeah, it's easier to catch in writing, of course, right? It's,
Sure.
but it definitely got me thinking, and then have a conversation that we just recently had, you know, got us to come up with this episode as well. And, I can't you never really notice that you're doing it yourself.
No, people
Um,
don't.
yeah, it's just something that's like, for me, it's a habitual habit because I've been I've been protecting myself in many different ways for so long.
hmm hmm No, it's so true. When I have listened to people who start talking about things in I, me, my, and switch over to second person, it's very smooth. That there's no sort of bump or hitch where you see it change. It just changes. So they don't notice it. They don't realize they're doing it. So like anything else we talk about, like you said, we were just having a conversation and we thought, "Oof, we should put
Mhm.
this on the show." Um, and that, in case anyone's wondering how we come up with our ideas, that's it. We just start talking about our shyness and anxiety, and ping, up comes something useful. So this has to have a hidden rule behind it that others can relate to. It's got to have a hidden rule.
Oh, yeah.
Uh,
For me, it was, if I can talk about it where it doesn't involve me, it makes it easier,
oh
right? It's that avoidance, for protection.
yeah. Mm,
Um, I if you're talking about it as, I mean, I've seen, like, TV shows where they have somebody talking as a puppet, right? And then they're able to talk about somebody else or something with that, with the puppet, because it's somebody else. It's a different character, it's a different person, it's a different thing. It makes it easier to deal with.
mm,
And I I didn't see it in myself, and I didn't recognize it until you pointed it out there. I mean, I totally remembered it from writing, but I didn't realize I was doing it in my speech as well. And yeah.
that's fascinating. Well, now you got me wondering if ventriloquists and puppeteers, are people with levels of anxiety like I've dealt with. So much
I think
easier to talk through your friend.
yeah,
Right.
I think there's something to it.
There's probably something to that. So, right, so to that hidden rule, right? It's, um, a deflecting in the conversation, it's deflection, right? It's deflecting the deep feelings and the anxiety we have, out of ourselves onto that
Mhm,
person, and also I mean, to avoid feelings of anxiety and embarrassment, right?
mhm.
But it's also a connector too, like, "Oh, well," it's almost like asking, "Well, this happened to you too, right?
Oh,
You
yeah.
can relate to this because this, right? Doesn't this happen
Yeah.
to other people?" So, yeah, it's an attempt at connecting too, I think, but overall more about trying to avoid feeling uncomfortable and embarrassed and anxious. Um,
Huh.
yeah.
So, is there is there utility? I mean, because I saw it on TV shows, psychology things. Is
Mm.
there any um, usefulness in doing that.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, I just thing if we start really paying attention to this more, like,
Mhm,
it can be in conversations with friends or neighbors, it can be in, conversations at work, it can be in meetings, it can be in teams and groups.
mhm,
When somebody has the floor and they're talking about something that isn't necessarily easy for them to talk about,
mhm,
we can really look for changing from the I, me, my to the you, your, yours. The utility of that would help us to understand that person better, like what they just where they just switched from me to you is a pain point. Is a place of discomfort for that person.
mm,
And we can choose to support that,
mhm.
right? We can choose to support the what's behind that for that person and get to know them better just through that. Like they're fine with this discussion and this
Okay.
discussion is difficult. Could you
Would
see
it
that?
also sorry about that.
Go ahead.
Would it also help them, uh, encourage them to speak about it in the 3rd person so that then they can get it out? Would that help?
I would think that with the right person talking to
Yeah.
them, someone that they feel comfortable with and trust, saying, I noticed when we were talking about this subject that you switched to second person. Is there some way I can help you with whatever negativity or discomfort that might have brought up for you?
Okay.
Because, like you said earlier, they don't notice that they're doing it.
Mhm,
Internally, they're doing it because it feels better, right?
mhm,
It feels safer, but they don't notice that it's being spoken or written in a way that other people can see it. So, yeah, someone that person could trust or feel comfortable with might be able to say, "And I noticed that switch. Let's" and then encourage them to learn it like you've learned it. Let's notice
mhm.
it in others when we hear other people on an interview or being questioned or speaking in front of a group, because then we can learn more about each other and support each other better, both friendships and in the workplace.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
yeah. Well, okay. How about a reminder for our listener?
Yes, we would love for you to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes.
Helps us grow the podcast, helps us grow this YouTube show and our content and feeds our articles and everything along those lines. So anything we can help you out with, let us know.
And please, in addition to liking and subscribing, please share this with others so that we can spread the word into ways that we are here to help individuals, teams, workplaces, groups, whatever your organization might look like. And Ted and I offer lunch and learns and structured interactive sessions